What is up, guys? It is Zack Plauché, and this is part 6 of the How to Work From Home series. And in this video, we're going to be talking about scaling up your freelancing career after you've already done all the things we talked about before. So this is more so going to be an explainer video of just how the process looks like and what you can expect after you've already been succeeding for a while. So let's get into it. We're going to start with sharing my screen. Let's go. So back to the Freelance Success Map that I built a long time before I made this video. So let's see what we got. We covered the employee to platform freelancer part. We talked about Upwork, Freelancer, all of these platforms, which are all good and still part of the strategy. And we discussed creating your profile and sending quality proposals. Now, here's the next step. Here's where we're starting. So 10,000 foot view. So after you become a platform freelancer, where do you go from here? Let me just tell you this because this is kind of the goal that you should have. So there's two options once you're kind of past the stage that we're still going to talk about in the platform freelancer. We're not quite done here. Actually, let me make that distinction. So let's call this color done. This is just, we're still in it. So there's two more kinds of being a freelancer. One of them is actually, what is brand freelancer? Hold on, let me remember. In the meantime, we'll talk about business funnel freelancing. So basically, business funnel freelancing happens whenever you are off of the platforms, when you have your own website, your own area where you make money, and everything that you make comes directly to you. There's a lot of ways you can do this, including, let's see, what are a couple? Well, one, having your own website. That's probably the biggest one. Two is you can have a lot of other channels like Patreon or some of these other new income streams. Most of the time, though, you're going to want to have your own website because that's just where the money is. So you have yourself.com, or at least ideally, maybe you have yourself.io. Maybe you have some weird or some different name that you call yourself, like Zack's Fire Websites or something. I don't know, something like that. That's where you can have your own website and have people actually come through your own funnel. So let me show you kind of what I mean by that. So we're going to go to my own website, again, zackplauché.com. Let me show you what I got here. So this is my sexy homepage. I have this cool work your business smarter, blah, blah, blah. Here's all my stuff. Oh, look, services. That's where I was wanting to land. So here's what's next. We have, let's say someone's looking at my website and they're like, you know, I could really use a Shopify store. Ready to gracefully get your company online? Shopify is the best platform for online e-commerce, period. And blah, 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 blah. Let's check it out. So here's the offer. Here's deliverables. Here's my price to build one. So $500, and this is actually all still just dummy copy. Like these aren't even all the deliverables. It's really not specific enough. So let's continue. Order now. Yes, I want to order. Order summary. You'd like to order a Shopify e-commerce build. Here are the details of what you will receive. The price is $500. Let's input the order form. My name is Zack. Last name is Plauché. I'm not going to give my real email address, so I'm just going to do test@gmail.com. And click confirm order. Boom, thank you for ordering. You can expect a response within that amount of time. Talk soon. So that's just a really quick basic step of my funnel. So 3 steps: you find a service, make an order now, fill in the order form, confirm order, and then I get an email I get an email and then I can talk to them and then eventually we'll get started. So that's kind of the process for right now. That's really all there is to a sales funnel. It's just a matter of having your website set up, like having your, you can almost imagine it like just like a set of doors. So this is like the front entrance of a building. You walk through the first door, then you get to the desk or like if it's a movie theater, you walk through the entrance of the movie theater and then you're like, oh, look, this looks like a good movie now that I actually see more than just a poster. I'm standing right in front of the movie thing. And I mean, well, first you would buy the ticket either way, but let's say you want to buy a ticket to the Shopify e-commerce build movie. So what you would do next is this person wants to check it out. So, okay, let's go in. I see the ticket that I want to buy. Are you sure you want to buy this ticket to go see the Shopify e-commerce store build movie? Yes, I do. So that's when you fill out your details, then you confirm the order, and then you go and see your movie. That's kind of how it works so far. So that's the basics of a sales funnel. And that's pretty much all there is to it. The only difference is you also have the option of signing people up as soon as you do that to make it to where they're receiving emails from you, so you're constantly on their mind. That is a form of marketing and bringing people back. I think there's another name for it. I just can't remember. It's some version of email marketing, though. Or retargeting is the word I was looking for. So it's basically a way to keep like your customers keeping to come back. And that's essentially how you grow your business. You figure out some way for people to pay you and you work everything out from there. That just a quick little shameless plug. I also build websites like this, like my own. I have a couple built already, but I'll tell you more about that later. For now, let's just keep going. So, brand freelancer. I'm trying to remember what this was. So that's kind of the first one where you market people to your website. A brand freelancer is more, I guess, I don't know. You can kind of just, I guess, I don't remember what I was thinking when I wrote this. So for now, let's just focus on business funnel freelancing. Whoops, hold on a second. All right, and I'm back. So you have your platform down. You have your platforms down and working for you. You have your business funnel working, and now you want to expand. You don't want to be doing all the freelancing that you're doing anymore. Like if you're a programmer, you don't want to have to be doing all the coding stuff. You want to be managing a team of people who are doing all the coding stuff while you focus on your business. That's when you'll expand into an agency. For example, I plan on getting one for, I'm not going to share the name right now, but I do plan on doing this right after I'm kind of getting more people on my business funnel freelancing. So that's the next step. And then ideally, you can work yourself out of that business to where you sell it. People think passive income is all the rage. I disagree, thanks to my mentor's explanation, because it doesn't really make sense to have passive income when you're selling your company. The reason is, let's say you build a company and you want to sell it and you decide to go on like some kind of passive income deal, right? So actually, let me use my camera to explain this. So again, let's say you built some kind of business and you want to receive passive income from it. And here's exactly why that's a bad idea. So you decided that you don't have to touch this business, but you still want to get paid from this company. And let's say you agreed to get $4,000 a month for the next 5 years. Here's what happens if that business goes under, right? So the thing that can happen is if that business fails all the way, you're not getting $4,000 for every single month anymore. You're getting nothing because that business is no longer in existence. That thing doesn't exist anymore. What my mentor suggested to me, and what I understand to be a logically smart thing to do, is to have not sure if it's called zero sum or lump sum payment, where you receive every single part of your sale from it, so you can use that money immediately. This makes a lot more sense, because why would you just not have access to your money? You know, if someone's buying your company, if someone's buying your marketing agency and you have it optimized and working, maybe not completely without you, but ideally you get it working completely without you. You build it up and then you sell that castle. So that's, you want to sell the thing. You want to get it out of your way and have all of the money to invest in whatever you want. You can store it, save it, spend it, invest in it, whatever. It's your money. There's no risk of you failing once you already receive everything. So that's one thing to take into account. Next thing is, let's go back to sharing. And yeah, so that's pretty much the whole 10,000 foot overview. I'll leave this here because maybe I'll remember it later, but for right now, let's just ignore that. We'll color it gray. So great. Now let's talk about maximizing your platform freelancing and scaling your online income. So the first thing that I wanted to point out is, well, okay, let's go down here first. So platform success map. Let's say you're still a platform freelancer and you want to succeed. Why is this in a separate video? The reason is part of the process. So here's what happens when you start succeeding on these platforms. As long as you're active, as long as you're constantly up to date, you're constantly receiving clients, you have a high review, people will start to find you. Their algorithms will start to optimize. Let's see. So let's say your profile is here. So your profile. This is you. Here we go. You do a job. You get a review. You get a positive review. You send out proposals and visit the site frequently. You do a job, you get a positive review. That positive review goes back to your profile. Actually, let's put it up here. So we'll put that down there. You get a positive review. Now that positive review is on your profile. The next thing that can start to happen, and this is also assuming that you already have the SEO part and you're building your portfolio. So with all of this, let's just call this algorithm points earned. So we'll color this green because that seems like a good color for this kind of thing. We'll make it this green because it looks good. So let's do this next. All right, I'm not sure these are gonna blend together, but freak it. Boom skis. And you do a job, doesn't really matter as long as you do it well. So yes, since we get paid, but yeah. All right, and my mic might have cut out for a second. That's okay. So everything that you do good goes back to your profile. And the thing about this is, let's say there's this magical guy called the algorithm. I wish I had more icons and stuff to use here because I would. Either way, there's the algorithm. And here are some customers. Customer, and customer. Boomskies. So there are these customers out in space, and you're already sending proposals, or maybe you're just active on the platform looking at jobs, but you already have a cool profile built up. Most likely you want to still be sending some proposals, maybe at least one a day. Here's what happens. While you are crushing it on your online profile, we'll change these arrows because these are not arrows anymore. Now these are just links. Where's the none? There we go. So the algorithm for you, let's say Upwork's algorithm or Wyzant's algorithm, this is working in your favor. It is the more that your profile is up to date and the more you're doing all of these things to earn, let's call it algorithm points, the more the algorithm is going to point towards your keywords, your everything. It's going to recommend you to people because you're at the top of the talent there. So this is going to keep moving you up on people's radar. You are a brighter dot on the mini map, if that makes sense. So that's the first part of it. You want to get as many eyes on your profile as possible, and ideally people are reaching out to you instead of you reaching out to them. That's just another thing that happens once you start succeeding on on some platform for a long time. Like, for example, this happens to me mostly on Wyzant. Let's go back to my profile, wyzant.com. Hopefully I'm still logged in. I believe I am. If not, I will pause the recording. Yes, I am. Great. So back to my profile. I can tell you that after a while, most of the people that I find are actually, most of these reviews that I have, or most of the people who have even tutored, even ones that didn't leave reviews, they all came from just pretty much nowhere. Like the algorithm found me because Wyzant has its own things to do to like judge your success by the algorithm. So, for example, it says top tutors under 6 hours. My response time, I try to keep it under 1 hour because I like to be available as often as possible. And that's why it keeps pushing me up to the top to where people can find me on even Google, should you turn that setting on. And yeah, that's just kind of how this part works. So the better you do, the more money you get, and basically you want to do the same thing right here on every single platform. You want people to reach out to you more often than not. That's why it's so important to have the good profile, because then people can find you, and it's just kind of automatic at that point. Now, you should have your own website pretty much no matter what, or at least some kind of portfolio, but definitely your own website. The reason is because eventually, once you start doing some really cool jobs, assuming that you get those, you'll start to, well, hopefully you'll start to get people who can really matter, like really, whose like lives you make really great progress on, and you want to show that off, or whose lives you've really affected, like in a positive way because of your service. That's, you want to get that on your website and on your profile too. For example, one of the guys I learned freelancing from was a web developer who learned, or who did a guy named Tim Ferriss's website. Tim Ferriss is a very popular blogger, content creator, just guy who does a lot of things, kind of like me. But he has a huge brand, a huge reputation. I'm talking about Tim Ferriss. This other guy, he has a growing brand on YouTube that I think has somewhere around like 50K channels, but at the same time, he's also a very successful course builder and freelancer. So yeah, that's just kind of how the process works at first. Now, let's talk about marketing. I think that's probably where I'll end this video. Let's do this. Sure. Oh, wait, I missed one thing. So one of the cool things about these platforms and building your skill is eventually you'll get so good that you get to the point to where you can move to curated platforms. So curated comes after you have a basic skill that you can sell really well. Now, if you do really know a lot about whatever topics that the curated platforms have available, then you can go on there. It's just, from my understanding, some of these require a bit more work and time. So two of those that I know for sure are TopTal and onsite.com. Personally, I am not a huge fan of these, so I think it makes more sense to succeed on something like Upwork, Freelancer, or Fiverr. It just depends on how much availability you have, and if you want to work with one client for a long time instead of having multiple. So that part's mostly up to you. Now, these do pay more, so they have their positives and negatives, but they do pay more, and typically you'll get to do more interesting work from my understanding. So just wanted to throw that part in there. Now, to go a bit deeper into scaling up yourself and your brand, I wanted to show you one more map. Let's see. I wanted to show you one more map that I built before I even started freelancing. This was after, I think, about a week worth of research, just like literally almost 16 hours a day of nonstop studying. This is what I had developed. So I will show you right now. let's see. I'm not sure where I really keep this anymore. Here, wait, give me a second. Let me just doop. So I'm checking out through my computer, doing a little searchy search, searching up the place. Yeah. Tools, no. EDU, no. Data, personal data, nope. Business data, nope. All right, well, God damn it. Okay, it's definitely mother freaking somewhere in here. Freelancing, nope. Intellectual property, there we go. Okay, frick. All right, I'm gonna pause this. So I finally found it. Are you ready? Let's check it out. Boomsies. So this is the gigantic freaking thing that I developed. And there's only 3 milestones in here. And we kind of talked about those, but let's go a bit more in depth. So this was my plan specifically. As soon as I started, there's a little key, the green, dark green is the goals, blue or the goal, blue ones are milestones, continuous processes, goal foundation, blah, 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 process, yeah, etc. So here are the literal step-by-steps that I did, as well as the timelines. So start, research how to create a successful freelancing business. Next part was strategy, finish building the strategy, which is this whole thing. A strategy is just a series of action steps to take to achieve a goal. Blah, 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 that part doesn't really matter. Setup, build out your Upwork profile. Execution, send off 1 high quality proposal per day, increasing the number of proposals sent by 1 every 7 days. When you land a client, ask for feedback on why they chose you versus the competition and see what you can do better and improve upon. After you fulfill a client's request, ask them to leave a review and document processes as you do them and learn to automate and delegate later. That's kind of where I'm at right now, actually. So the first thing, build out your profile. Create an attractive landing page for your coaching services using Django. Post on your Facebook and message your family and friends that you're doing both freelance work and are doing Python coaching starting. Yeah, definitely didn't do that. And that could be a bit annoying, but at the same time, it is direct response marketing. This was just my initial plan. Some of these things have changed. Yeah, get a few jobs, get paid on your Upwork account, set up your business LLC, either in Ukraine or the States, blah, blah, blah. LLCs are just to protect you. Set up an account on Hello Bonsai. Yep. Actually, you can do that earlier. Get a higher tier on Upwork and get a really good rating where you're consistently hitting your desired survivability, blah, blah, blah. Yep. And then, yep, that pays for, you want to just get to where you're surviving. As you develop in skill, get into TopTal and get better paying jobs. Now reach your next survivability number, which is double that of your thrivability number, which is double that of your survivability. And yeah, let's see what's here. Hire a team for different parts of your job. Basically, you scale yourself out of your company and sell it. Now, let's actually get into marketing. So this is going to be the last part of this video, and this has to do with getting your channel out and about on the internet. This just has to do with general social media in general and how to kind of give and receive in the world of the online. So this has to do more with content creation and basically giving out free advice on how to do cool stuff, like how to do your skills and master those online. Part of what I'm doing now is part of that strategy. Part of this series is part of that strategy. I'm giving away free value, and in return, I don't know, I'm building an audience. I'm getting ideas out there, helping people. There's a lot of benefits, both kind of spiritually, even physically, and mentally, and financially. All 4 of these. So it's not a bad spot. The way you get your work out there is you. Okay, let me map this out. Actually, I already have this mapped out, so we'll just show you. So bloop, 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 bloop. Let's go to, we're going to open up Xmind. Xmind. This is a mind mapping platform, software, whatever. I had this on one of the first videos, but let me show you what I got. So open file. We're going to do social media marketing strategy. And this should load. There it is. Great. So social media marketing strategy. This is the way to do it when you don't have a lot of money to blow on ad spend for some things like Facebook ads or Google ads, whatever, YouTube ads, all of that, because those can grow you a lot quicker. However, those cost money. So, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes you can spend some money on there. So here's the gist of it. There are these platforms such as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. These are the main ones, at least. There's also TikTok and Snapchat and other stuff that you can use if you want to. I'm not really into them yet, so it's whatever. So there's a few fundamentals I've found through the research I've done on this. I only did about 3 days of research on this. It's supposed to be 5, but there were some distractions. So 4 fundamentals that I've found. So there's quality, making sure that your posts are good in terms of usefulness, authenticity, engaging, empowering, and curate's a different one. I'll cut that out for now. So basically, you want your content to be both useful and make your audience feel good, like a laugh or whatever. My first videos in this series were not like that. They were very kind of just a pain in the ass because I had to get started somewhere, and I haven't recorded videos in a long time. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Either way, quality, this is typically what you want to go for when you get it. Consistency, you want to be posting on all of these platforms because the basic gist of it is you want more people to see what you're doing, what you're offering to the world. And there are many ways to do that. Online, I would say, is the most effective in terms of reach, or in terms of how many people you get to have see it, because everyone's on their phones now, or laptops, or most people. So yeah, consistency. Posting on a consistent schedule at least once a day, maybe once a week, depending on what you want to do. Once a week might be a good start, but ideally you're posting every single day. That comes with a lot of work though. Cross-posting. No matter where you're kind of set up on the main, no matter where you're mainly set up, like whether you're mostly on YouTube or mostly like an Instagram influencer, or mostly on Facebook, or you're a really successful freelancer on Upwork or Wyzant, doesn't really matter. You want to be cross-posting and offering whatever that you have. So, for example, on Wyzant, people go there to hire me for tutoring or to hire people to teach them something, teach them some skill. 2 of my clients, and the only reason I reached 10K recently, 2 of my clients who hired me to build a website for them on Shopify, they originally were looking just for like Shopify help. However, they realized that I'm very skilled in building Shopify stores, and I'm someone who really knows what I'm talking about when it comes to those, because I've had over almost 4 years at this point. But when they hired me, it was like well over 3. So I let them know that I can build Shopify stores. I have I have skills in this area that I can do for them on a service. And while some people think they might want tutoring, it's more, God, I'm being so expressive and you can't even see it. I got to learn OBS. So the point here is I sold my services in a way that I wasn't supposed to sell my services, because Wyzant is mostly for tutoring. However, these people weren't looking for tutoring. They were looking for someone to team up with and develop stuff for them. And that's why it's sometimes just an easy transition, depending on the client and the person who you find. So cross-posting is pretty pretty much never a bad thing. I don't know any examples of where it would be. I'm just letting you know because that's one of the things. And all cross-posting is as soon as you make a YouTube video, for example, as soon as you make a Facebook post, well, most likely you want to start on Instagram and then make it a Facebook post, or YouTube and then make it on these other things. You want to start with your main one and then spread that message or where you want people to go across all of them. If you make an Instagram post, tell people from your Facebook that you just made an Instagram post, or share it onto your Facebook. Either way, you want to let people know where you are, where you're going to be, and how to get there. So yeah, that's kind of the organic strategy of just nonstop posting, and eventually you'll grow organically, because that's just how all of these platforms work. They all have their own algorithms. They all have their own way of like scaling up. There's a lot of ways of like growth hacking and stuff like that, but you really want to go for quality on all of this stuff. And yeah, eventually you'll start finding people who are either interested in what you have to say, which builds your influence, or want to hire you for something. That's the gist of it. So yeah, from there, there's not really much else to it. It's just a matter of scaling up your profiles and your work until the point where you can sell, like build your own agency and then sell that. And then you're pretty much in a good spot for a while. So yeah, that's the basic fundamentals and the fundamental process. And actually, that is the last part of the main part of this video series. So good job if you made it all this way. And thank you very much for watching all of it, because I appreciate it. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be discussing relationships, specifically on working from home. I work closely with my wife. She's literally right next to me, and yeah, it can be kind of challenging to deal with relationships when you're working at home, but we've been working literally like not together, but right next to each other, and we've had our challenges, and I want to share some of the things you can do to make your relationships at home not so complicated, should they be complicated. For all I know, you could be a harmonious person and not have any trouble in your life, in which case I will hire you to help me do the same. So that is it for the video. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and get more content in the future, and that's it. So thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you. Bye for now.